foot cramp.
It's Thursday night. You know what that means. We are live with Pals Pulls. All four of the Comics Pals are here today to talk about four big books. But are they good? That's the question. Kale, what's the face?
Okay, two things. Are they any good? The second thing. You said it's Thursday night, and you know what that means.
Yeah.
This is new. What does Thursday night mean?
Means we're doing Pals Pulls. That's
Oh,
what it meant on
shit.
Wednesdays. Yeah.
Right, well, yeah, but it's Thursday.
Yeah, we're doing Pals Pulls.
That's how Sean gets used to it. You know, he kept saying Wednesday the past week on the show.
All right. Listen, hey.
He's got to keep there's got to be some structure. It helps.
Exactly. Structure
And
helps.
now we're not stealing from a wrestling show on the same day. It's our own thing.
Listen, you think they're the only people who ever said anything like that? They do that on Monday. They do that for Monday Night Raw every week, okay?
I mean, it's true. We don't have a overweight barbecue man saying it on our show, so
A barbecue man.
we could. I'm almost there.
I think we need
I got some Sweet Baby Ray's in the fridge, so
Oh, Sweet Baby Ray's so good.
Boy, I miss Sweet Baby Ray's.
You don't get it over
you
there?
don't have that where you are.
It's the pond.
Don't think
Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. So the medic says it's Thursday, time to make fun of Sean. So what is that about? Why is that on the agenda?
I mean,
I
listen.
made the agenda. The last time I looked, that shit's not on the menu. The medic.
I have a slide for it actually.
That's
Let's
an
see it.
audience
No,
request.
I don't. there's no Wildcat slide this today. so.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, fuck Wildcat. That's my new stance.
All
Whoa.
right. Okay.
That's my new stance.
You
Easy.
need a good old. You need to get socked right in the mouth now.
All right.
Why
Listen, bring
Wildcat?
it. Bring it. Tyler, you could take that train, buddy. 8 hours. I'll see you then. You let me know where it lets off.
Well, I can get off. I can get off at Yonkers. I can get off at Penn Station.
All right, you tell me. You tell
I
me.
haven't
Call your
punched
buddy
anything in my life.
Wildcat.
Jeez, I've only punched on a clock because I'm a wage slave. That's the only thing I'm doing.
All right. Listen, we've got 4 books to talk about. Like I said, we're talking about Captain America #0. We are talking about The Vampire Slayer #1.
I don't like that cover. I don't.
Me neither. Nice House on the Lake. What number is this? Number 8.
Me and Marco had the
8.
same discussion.
Book 8.
Before you guys joined. Yeah.
And World's Finest #2.
Let's go.
And also, I had to do this. It's been a day. I had to treat myself. I grabbed Inferno, the hardcover.
Is there a wrap on it right now?
Yes, the wrapping is currently on. Yes.
Are we doing ASMR while you unwrap it, or do you keep yours wrapped?
I don't keep them wrapped. No, I read them.
Well,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he keeps them wrapped forever until he decides to read them.
You know me so well.
That's honestly, I've done that too. That's how I know I haven't read something yet.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. And I'll definitely get around to it because I do want to do a reread of that. But before we get into all that, I do want to let you guys know how you can support the show. In case you missed it, the Comics Pals are now on Patreon. That was our huge announcement this past Saturday/Monday, depending on when you get the podcast. And we're really happy and excited about that. I'm going to talk more about that on Saturday. Marco is wearing the merch. I'm going to talk more about that on Saturday live at 10 a.m. Eastern on the main show. But right here, right now, I did want to say that you can join us on patreon.com/thecomicspals, where right now you can catch the very first episode of Palling Around, which is our, sort of, a lot of podcasts have their after dark show. That's kind of our version of that. For the first one, we kind of talked about some stories from our past that we might be a little embarrassed to share. I'll say that. And we've already started getting some feedback. Thank you to every single person that has joined so far. We really appreciate it. If you're thinking about it, I encourage you to take the plunge. We were not ever going to launch a Patreon if it wasn't going to be value, if we couldn't make it worth it. And we feel like we found a way to make it worth it. We feel like we found a way to deliver more of what you guys like and try stuff and just kind of have fun. And so if you're a longtime listener and you want to help us out, support, and get some cool content that you won't get any other way, and early access to stuff, I think it's worth your time. We've got the newsletter up. Mine is up now. Got some feedback on that too. And then every one of us will have a newsletter entry, one a month. So I'll be up first, so on and so forth. Once we've all gone, I'll go again, so on and so forth. And that'll be the cadence. We're not going to shill Patreon too much, but you can expect to hear from us every week about it. Sorry, it is what it is. And on the show this Saturday, we are going to be debuting the superhero names or supervillain names for every single person that joined us on Patreon. So thank you guys for that. Good.
Show 'em.
Are there any joiners who you feel off the bat? We don't have to give any names, super or otherwise. Who's a superhero and who's a supervillain? Just first ones that come to your mind.
mean-
Yes. Absolutely.
I wanted to discuss this once we named them because the if we're going chronologically, who signed up first? Fortunately, unfortunately, Matt Murphy was the first one to sign up.
Matt
I
Murphy,
think,
yes.
we need to
100%
get
a
him
villain,
out of the way.
right?
Well, I mean, no spoilers for Saturday, but
Okay. all right.
I did want to say something about the patrons found out what books we're talking about this week. Literally, as I found out, I made that thing right away. So I am trying to put it up there as soon as possible, so patrons can kind of get a head start on what we're reading and maybe read along with us and discuss the books that we read in the chat. So
Absolutely. And again, we're going to talk more about that on Saturday because I feel like this is it's like a new world. It feels amazing. Like, wow, I'm so excited to come and do the show and talk about all these wonderful people that are like, supporting us. It feels great. So again, huge thank you. We will talk about that, but also a lot of other things. It's been a week in comics. Live on Twitch this Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. If you want to catch this very show, Pals Pulls Live, you can do that by joining us on Thursdays now at 6 p.m. Eastern. We decided to do this on Thursdays because we want to make sure we're giving you guys an opportunity to get your books, read them, get situated with them before we do our review. I've personally noticed that our YouTube numbers for Pals Pulls generally kind of spike on Thursdays. So I feel like that might be where that comes from. So trying this out, hope it works for you guys. Give us feedback. Let us know. We love feedback. Absolutely. You're not going to offend me. You can't hurt my feelings. So just if it works, it works. If it sucks, it sucks. Just tell us.
We're friends. We've tried.
Pals Pulls, or not Pals Pulls, book club. Our next book club, Doctor Strange the Oath. That'll be out on
The third.
the 3rd. Yes, indeed. So just ahead
That's
of
a
the movie.
promise.
Yes, absolutely. Can't wait. That'll be fun. All right, let's review some comics. Captain America #0 is up first. So this is basically it's serving as a 0 issue and an introductory issue for 2 different runs. So on one hand, you have the Captain America Sam Wilson run, which is going to be by Tochi Onyebuchi. And then you have, and he wrote a portion of this, but then you have the Captain America Steve Rogers run, which is going to be written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. So all 3 writers contributed to this single story. And it kind of, I don't know that I would say it gives you an idea of what we can expect in the, in the separate runs, but it's just an intro. The art is by Matteo de Iulis, with letters by Joe Carabagna, and of course, the cover by the amazingly talented legend of comics, Alex Ross. Kale, what'd you think?
Oh, I did not like this one bit.
Okay, why?
I thought the dialogue was insanely corny through the whole thing. It took me out of it the whole time. The art gave me Assad Ribic vibes, and literally for anyone else that would be a good thing. I didn't care for it.
Damn.
It's pretty harsh, dude. I feel like I had fun with the writing here. It was I'm not a seasoned Captain America reader by any stretch of the imagination. And I think Beyond the Book Club that we did a while back is sort of the extent of which I have read it. And seeing these two caps together, just kind of knock out a villain. I think it was, pretty like meat and potatoes comics in that you get a villain, come in, stop it, and come out. And I
Is
had fun
that
with it.
is that what meat and potatoes comics means? Because that's not what
Maybe.
it means to me.
No?
Like meat and potatoes is like this shit's gonna last a long time.
Mm.
I mean, this, and no disrespect to the creators for this, but like, there was nothing here. There's nothing memorable here.
I think as the introductory issue of it just being a romp, that's fine. That's okay for it to be that for a 0 issue, and then the number 1 will ideally, like, this is introducing you to the creative team. The number 1 ideally will introduce you to the next story.
So I've been really looking forward to this because I love Captain America, both Captain Americas. And I think it's great that they're just saying, okay, we're just gonna, let them both be Cap, no distinction, whatever. Let's just go for it. I don't think this was a great introduction to that. Arnim Zola is a classic Cap villain. Everyone loves him. I love him. I kind of wish he didn't get jobbed out this way. I think that you could have probably built a story, an introductory arc at least around him trying to do something, whatever that is. And they didn't choose that, which I didn't love. And I gotta agree with Kale on the dialogue front. I thought some of the dialogue was rough, especially Arnim's, like his taunting of Sam. It reminded me. All right, so this is a little bit of a leap, I guess, but in sorry, this is such a leap. I've been drinking.
Go on.
In World War II,
I've
right?
been drinking.
Oh boy! All right, right off the bat.
I know, right? As soon as you start,
it was
a
real.
sentence
Don't
with-
go there. It was real. Don't go there. So
in World War II, right? The Nazis sent letters to black soldiers to basically say, like, hey, why would you fight for them? They treat you like crap.
Yeah.
Right. And when Arnim is taunting Sam, he says, oh, well, what? This is the America that you support. And he lists all these things. And I'm like, well, what the hell would Sam specifically care about any one of these? He didn't bring up anything biting. Like there was no like commentary on, black issues, minority issues. He was just like, oh, you would stand for a country that doesn't care about its environment? Like, okay. I mean, what country cares about its environment? Like, we have a global crisis. It's not just America. What he said didn't connect. And Sam was just like, yeah, I'll fight for this America. It didn't make me think, well, yeah, Sam has to consider those things. If he had brought up, like, yeah, you would protect the country that kills black people in the streets, Sam might have to think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just felt weak. It felt limp. And that was my issue with some of Zola's dialogue.
your argument is the rare where is the politics in my comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why else? Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I mean,
Well,
if you're
yeah,
gonna put
and-
politics into a comic, maybe Black Captain America is the right one. Just saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because very specifically, like if you take a second with that dialogue and even think about it, like, oh yeah, no, he's right. But then if you think about Sam's angle of it, and even correlate it to Steve, even for a second, they're like, yeah, this country isn't perfect. Of course not.
Right.
And then it's like, well, then what are we doing? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
I enjoy this. I'm typically a big Captain America fan. I've pretty much read every run since the Brubaker stuff. So I've read every modern Captain America story, I would say. And I enjoy it. I'm also a big fan of Matteo De Iulis, mostly for his work on the Jessica Jones book that I mentioned, I think on Saturday's show or last week. So I actually enjoyed this. I thought it was a fine zero issue. I don't really care much for the idea of the zero issue. Just the premise of it is not my biggest thing. It's just like, oh, let's start your story without starting your story,
Right.
so that people can get ready for it. Especially when you have two separate books coming out of this. So I thought it was fine. I think I am interested to see what the actual separate ongoings do. Did they introduce Black Panther's white brother in this? Was that who that was?
Yeah.
The white panther or something like that? Isn't there like the white wolf or
Oh,
something
is
like
that who
that?
that dude was?
I saw a white dude saying my brother, and I was like, excuse me. He had like the Wakandan dashiki on too. I'm like, yo.
But maybe he meant like my brother in Christ. Maybe it wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
just that dude was just a missionary. He wasn't like a an actual. He just got back from a trip.
Yeah.
he took a church trip to Wakanda.
Yeah,
Now he calls them
Listen,
all his brothers.
I've been there.
Oh man. Oh hey, Sultan of Swing, welcome. Glad you're here. Sultan was one of the people who actually said, by the way, joined our Patreon. So thank you so much. We're going to give you and everyone else a proper thank you on Saturday, but was one of the people who said that they were excited for Pals Pulse to be on Thursday so that they could join. So really appreciate that. And I'm glad you're here. I thought the art was really good.
Yeah.
There were spots where I didn't love it, but some of the splash pages were fantastic. Like I'm holding it up right now, but it's both Caps, in midair, throwing their shields, and just looks super cool. There's also one of Steve Rogers slinging his shield, and that one looks phenomenal too. Let me see if I can find that one. A lot of really good shots in this book. I think Captain America's use of the shield and the dynamicism around the way that he fights lends itself well to a lot of really cool action sequences, and I thought that was taken advantage of here.
What do you guys think of Sam's shield?
It's fine.
I like it.
I do like how he has his own thing now, and it kind of sticks to what the shield is without it being the same shield. I don't know. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. A lot of people complained about it at first. I think it looks better in the book
Mhm.
than it did in some of the preview images. At least this book. I don't know how it's going to look in the main series, but yeah, this wasn't the best thing ever, but it was fine. It was cool. It didn't excite me more for either series, but I'm already pretty excited for them, so that's okay.
I would say pull this book because of the cover alone. That might be one of my favorite covers I've seen in a long time.
It's hot.
It's the
Lots of
color.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Really, Sean?
I get it.
I didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, sure.
He's been drinking.
He gets punnier while he drinks.
Maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
Yeah, pull it.
Paul.
Pass. Wait for the number one of either.
Anti-American Kale yet again.
I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. If you want Arnim Zola, because we all want Arnim Zola, pull it. No?
I'm like, I didn't know he was a hot commodity.
Hell yeah, dude. What? Arnim Zola's the man.
Sean will go to bat for Arnim Zola, but he won't lift a finger to figure out who Wildcat is.
You're damn right. How many times has Wildcat been in a live action show or movie?
He's in the Stargirl series.
Is
and
he?
I believe he might have been in Smallville.
Oh,
believe
so
JSA
he's
shows up.
So he's in the CW stuff. Okay. that
I was
makes
gonna say
sense.
there's the female Wildcats also. I think in Legends of Tomorrow, is it?
Yes. Yeah. CW. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, that wasn't you're trying to put down what I said there. Your question was live action. You didn't say
Kale, I'm not putting down what you said. I'm putting down the fact of him appearing in
Listen,
CW shows. I'm not putting
just
you
because your
down.
Krang ripoff
Oh,
can't
and
get-
Arrow. Yeah. Matt
See?
says Arnim Zola fleshlight when. Oh shit! Why do I read those things?
Tyler, I thought we had an agreement not to read the comments if you haven't read them
I
before
thought it was a
you
question.
read them live.
I saw the question marks. I thought it was
Oh
a
my
question.
God.
Ugh. Damn it.
Jesus.
I know a guy who could make one though.
You tell me when Wildcat's in a movie. That's when I'll show him. I'll put respect on his name at that moment.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks.
Harris says that Slumber, separate series, but it's a new Nathan Fox series. I agree. It's good stuff, Harris.
All right, let's talk about the Vampire Slayer #1. Notably, not Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The cover says, "From the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer." And the inside credits, which of course this is written by Sarah Gailey, illustrated by Michael Shelfer, colors by Valentina Pinto, and assists by Ricardo Giardina, lettered by Ed Dukeshire.
Hey, Sean,
Yes.
why did you read this?
Why did we read this? That's a great question, man. So
I can
before I
answer it.
answer that, on the inside cover, it says, first of all, they alone will wield the strength and skill to fight the vampires, blah, blah, blah. They're the Slayer. So notably not she, right? Because that's the whole Vampire Slayer
Sure.
creed. So now it's they, not she. It says, and this is an entirely new universe. Now, good thing I read that, because I would have been completely confused by what this was if I hadn't. And I'm still pretty confused, to be honest. We read this, Marco, because it's a Buffy #1.
Okay.
And why not? You know, Buffy's great.
I mean,
This, however, was not great.
My favorite thing about it was not knowing who Buffy was until at least
Oh, really?
19 out of the 23 pages we read.
Way later.
I got it as soon as I had the Whedon speak going on. She's like a crab god, you know, it's just like segmented speak. I was like, all right, at least you got the voice down. Like, I think the voice was good here. For what
It was mid. It was
Willow-
mid. It
Willow's
was mid
was a
Whedon
little-
voice.
Willow's wasn't very good, but also this is not our Willow. So, yeah, I wasn't feeling this. I'm a big Buffy head too, and like this was not my favorite. I've read better Buffy comics. I also like the premise is gets lost. Like, if it's just gonna be Willow the Vampire Slayer, just tell me. Like, I would have read that.
All right. So Matt's comment is highlighted, which means we have to read it.
I don't think
It's-
that's the case.
we have to. We have
All
to.
right, fine. He
It
used
says
points.
Buffy Thussy confirmed. Now, Matt, what does that actually mean? Because I don't know.
I can describe it. So a
right.
thussy is it's like
it
a
like
they, it's they them pussy.
Oh, all right. Got
Incredible.
Yep. You're welcome. Yep.
All right. You know what?
That's what happens when you highlight your message, I guess.
Yeah.
We have
That
to
was a
read it.
mistake.
This is
Those
like
are
when
the
I had to
rules.
this is like when I had to describe what bussy was to my wife's grandma.
Why would you do
What?
that?
She asked. I told her.
And you didn't lie.
She
No,
gotta
I was
know.
like, you know what pussy is? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, it's boy pussy.
Oh
like,
my
okay.
God.
Yeah, it's fine. We're cool.
Why didn't you just ask your wife to describe it?
I looked at her like, you ready? She's like, yep. All right. So
It's a good idea.
I got the okay. This is like a
Oh,
grandma we
wow.
would play like Cards Against Humanity when that was like a thing that people played, you know, like, and it was my custom made Cards Against Humanity, which was extra weird. So
That's crazy.
I wrote a lot of cards that were not okay. But
All right. Anyway, let's talk about
Thanks, Matt.
Buffy. this just wasn't good. So the Buffy comics started off, and I'm talking about like once they decided to continue the show within the books, starting from season 8, that was Joss Whedon writing. And then Joss wrote season 8, and then they passed the baton, and Christos Gage was on it. And you had some like mid-tier writers working on it, and some pretty quality people. And it kind of got a little less good every time they passed the baton. This is the first time that I'm reading the Buffy books. I'm like, I can't do this. I feel like it tries to do Whedon-esque dialogue, and it's just not funny. And then it like tries to acknowledge that it's not funny, but that's not funny. And then there's a giant crab monster that they're fighting. I have no idea why. And I don't really care that it's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer book and they're fighting a giant crab monster.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be a question that I had. Is that normal?
Yeah.
Don't
Kaiju
they
is typically
fight
not.
vampires.
So it's not normal, right? Like in the show, they fight creatures that are not vampires, but they're like, adjacent, like monsters.
Not kaiju.
Cryptids.
Wasn't
Yeah,
Adam like a
yeah.
cyborg, right?
Adam was a cyborg, but that was like horror, and that was
But
supposed
it's
to
still,
represent
it's still
the evolution
humanoid
of the show.
level,
Right, exactly.
not kaiju. Which fair,
And
budget
and
reasons. Yeah.
part of that maybe is because the show had a budget that was not great, and they couldn't do certain things. But the point wasn't to say, "Hey, we're in comics now. We can do anything we want. Let's have a giant crab. Who cares?"
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not cool. So it lost points from the first page for me.
Yeah, for sure. I think opening that way was just disarming for a second because I'm like, okay, did something happen before this? Did I miss like a summoning? What's going on? And then they don't actually say people's names up until maybe I want to
Ever.
say like 10 pages in is the first thing that gets dropped.
It's a problem.
And like Giles, I think was the first thing that popped up, and
Yeah.
I was just confused by who everybody was. I liked the banter enough that it kept me along, and the reading was at least smooth. But otherwise, just kind of throwing you into the deep end on this one with a crab.
That's like day one stuff, man. You gotta introduce your characters. Page one.
I think the issue is that this book requires the reader to have a recognition of Buffy characters.
Yes.
Both
Yep.
visually and by, I guess, voice. Even though the voice is a little like I've heard this stuff in my screenwriting for TV class in college, but like and maybe that's just where the Buffy books are. Nobody's really picking up a new Buffy book who's not a Buffy fan. Maybe that's just the case, but like you need to be a Buffy fan to even get the interactions here and why they mean something. Like if I've never read Buffy, I'd be like, oh, it's cool to see that Buffy's a ginger with like, oh, her name's Willow. Never mind. Like,
I was waiting for Buffy to show up.
Yeah, same.
It's like, okay, I think I remember Buffy's blonde, but this person is blonde and she's not acting like I think Buffy acts. So she must not be Buffy.
I mean, she didn't even know what a fire extinguisher was.
Yeah.
She wasn't like a lead, it felt like. So I was confused by that because I'm like, oh, if this is in the universe, obviously she should be up front and center, and she wasn't.
I have two
Yeah.
more. I have two other
Go ahead.
issues with this book. First off, the cover. The art around the cover is good. I don't like this glowing random person in it because that's not what the story is. The story isn't like some random
Yeah.
person becomes the Slayer. It's some alternate universe where Willow is the Slayer. Like that's the story. And also, it's just you lose so much on the cover there. And also, they're missing the best character in the whole Buffy universe in this series, and that's Anyaka.
Angel.
So
Oh, Anya.
Yeah.
Okay.
best character.
I guessed.
Fair.
For some reason, I don't think Tyler's an angel guy.
I'm
I'm
a big
not. You're
David
right, Sean.
Boreanaz
You're
fan.
right. I don't care much for Angel. I've tried the show too. I know there's a puppet episode which I kind of got into, but
Oh, hold on. You can't talk about that episode while Harris and I are here. Harris, talk about that in the chat, please.
I've never seen it. I know it exists.
How many
I've never
times
seen
do we watch that episode? How many times do we quote Smile Time? Yes. Apps. Oh my God. That's one of the best episodes of TV that I have seen.
So Jack Rye asked, like, does Willow use witchcraft as a Slayer? And like, even that's like kind of up in the air. Like she
Yeah.
tries,
She
like
sort of did.
what's the word I'm looking for? The rules are not set in this world.
Yeah, it plays off of the show and the general theme with Willow that she's kind of like the Jean Grey of the Buffyverse in that
So bad.
she's powerful, but there's a line that she can cross at which she goes bad.
Okay.
And they try to toe that line. And so that's what they were toying with here. But I don't think it works because there's no preamble to it. It's just, hey, remember, you can't do this because you might go bad. Who knows? And that doesn't work if you've never read Buffy before.
I
Yeah.
thought if she did that, she was gonna like die or like explode or something.
No stakes. I mean, besides the
Yeah.
actual stakes in this book, there are no stakes.
Yeah.
No stakes here, only crab meat.
I thought the art was solid. For the most part, I think some of the faces are a little like doughy. I don't know. They're a little.
Doughy.
I actually had a lot of beef with the art.
Yeah?
Okay.
I didn't actually feel like the art. So one thing in comics is when you draw a panel, you're supposed to, capture the moment that best represents, uh, what it says in the script, what's happening, and I didn't feel like any of this did that, especially in the action scenes. I felt like there were a lot of close-ups that were unnecessary. I'm specifically remembering one where she catches the amulet or something.
Oh, the hand?
Yeah. And I was just like, what is going on here? What is this fight? Like, I didn't feel like they were actually fighting the crab monster with whatever it was they were doing, because I couldn't tell what was going on because it was all close-ups.
Yeah.
there's-
There was the moment also a few pages right after that, Kale, where the crab monster like dives the hand into the dirt, but there's like 2 consecutive panels where it's just in the dirt, and then all of a sudden it grabs the amulet and disappears for a second.
Yeah, there was some confusion there for me too. Like I was like, "Wait, what happened?" Yeah, and also there's a lot of nondescript concrete backgrounds.
Yeah, I don't like that when there's just
Yeah.
a bland background to cover the fact that I don't know, we just don't add depth to where we are in the scene. That's hard.
Like that's what I do with our thumbnails when I'm running low on time. Like like
Ian?
Wow. Pass. Sorry. I love Buffy to death. Buffy is my favorite character in anything. That world will always mean
Ooh,
something
anything.
really, really
Wow,
special to
okay.
me. Yeah. I've loved Buffy since I was 7 years old. And I learned a lot from that show. But this comic was just not good, unfortunately. Like, I hope it gets better. I want to continue to read Buffy books, and all credit to the creators for their shot. But I just didn't think this. I don't think this nailed it by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard pass. Wouldn't even acknowledge in the comic shop.
same.
Pass.
All right, let's talk about Nice House on the Lake, number 8. Am I the only one who's like confused? Like I kind of got where I need it. Like by the end, I was like, okay, I think I'm on it now. But every time I open this damn book now, I'm like, what is happening? So real quick, James Tinian is the writer. Alvaro Martinez Bueno on art, Jordi Belair on colors, and world design on letters. Yeah, so the first like half of this book, I was very confused. Like, wait, what's happening? Why is she running around with a gun? Why is what's his name hanging out Walter? Why is he hanging out with them? I was
thought he was called
super
Gunther.
confused.
Sean, I'm in the same boat as you actually though. Like my relationship with Nice House on the Lake is I love this book, but every issue it takes me 66% of the way through the book to realize, okay, I think I know where I am again.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of catch up I have to do, mostly because it starts off with not a new character, but like it starts off with a character who's in this nondescript future setting we haven't gotten to
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
And they're all dirty, and like I could barely tell who it is in the first place. And they flash back to when they're younger with a whole new hairstyle. They don't address their name directly, and I get confused. And I almost wish like if you're not gonna do a catch up, like a recap panel or a page, which I would fucking love in this type of book, at least tell us someone's name in the dialogue. Like, hey Sarah, like there we go. Like I know it can get hokey and almost like you're holding the reader's hand a little bit too much. But if you're completely changing what the character looks like, I can't tell who's who. And most of these characters are white people, like with the same kind of hairstyles and everything. So like, I lose track. But once we started getting into Raya or Rains, the blue-haired woman who was in our first POV character.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. See, even then I got the gist of it.
Raya Reigns. What is that? A porn name?
It can be.
Matt.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I kind of got like I can always get what happens in the story by the end of it, but I do have
Yeah.
some trouble usually getting there.
Sultan says in the chat, this book is a hard trade weight. I also get confused, and like I kind of agree. I don't trade weight literally anything. But this is tough. This is tough.
I'm telling you, when I read the first trade, it was the best reading experience I've had. Like I didn't have any trouble with this. I picked up exactly where I thought it would and had no trouble at all. But reading that first trade was the best experience.
Yeah.
It made me love this book even more.
Despite that, once I was able to kind of figure out what was happening, I thought this was, I mean, it's very good. This is one of the best books on the stands, I think. It changed the dynamic. So now, right, for those of you who are keeping score at home, now Walter has basically inserted himself into this, this area, this location where they're all sort of, stuck. And it's as if he was always there, and they don't remember that there was a time he wasn't there. They don't remember that he placed them there. They don't know any of that. And he's just one of the crew. The only person who knows is Nora, and she's like being kept secluded elsewhere from everyone else. And she's, antagonizing him for being a piece of garbage. And, we're still getting flashbacks that showcase, why he chose certain people, what kind of a person Walter was when they were all young and stuff like that. It's all very compelling, it really is. And it's an interesting look at what life is like when you're, in high school, college, the way you build your friendships and stuff like that, the people that you want to have in your life for the rest of your life. Little do all these people know that's going to be at the cost of everyone else in life. Like they're not going to get to be around anyone else. What an extremely selfish thing. But like the other side of that, which is also so interesting, is that apparently, like from what I understand, this was going to happen either way. Everyone was going to die either way. So Walter just chose who he would save.
Yeah.
This is his experiment essentially of like the people that he cares about, and there's only a limited number. And the thing that in this issue I asked myself was, why does he keep excluding at least one person, which then leads to them finding out that there's another person, and then that like messes with the whole, I guess, I don't know, the environment that they live in. Because the first time it was, I forget, one of the other artist. And
yes, yeah.
Once he got brought in, then they started thinking about things, and then they had a whole realization that they need to figure out how to way to escape. Then Walter came in, erased everybody's memories, and now this is the same boat with Nora. And I'm confused why he would set himself up in these situations where he couldn't just have erased her mind and have all of them interact in the house.
Because he didn't do this to be lonely.
Yeah, And I also think, like, especially this issue in particular, it shows that he's not perfect. Like, he doesn't know everything. And yeah, he knew like this big event was happening, but he doesn't fully understand humans. Like, he has this idealized version of humanity, which the cracks are showing. Like he just can't keep. He even says, I think to Nora, like, I can't just keep mind wiping them. And she's like, yeah, duh.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, that one mind wipe would have sufficed, and Nora could have just also been integrated, and no one would be the wiser. Right? There wouldn't be this person who does remember things.
Sure.
And who it just felt like a hole in sort of the logic there.
I think you just need somebody to know.
Yeah.
Because throughout the whole series, he's always told everyone his plan eventually, and then mind wipes them right away. Like, I think that's his flaw. Like, he needs somebody there to know what's going on, to like bounce ideas off of.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm really interested in seeing like what other people of his race are, what other the other aliens, like what kind of
German.
Oh man, yeah, that is scary. Um, yeah, I mean this is real good. Like this is one of the issues where it's like kind of hard to review, just because nothing really happens. Um, but I'm still in on it. You know, I'm still very much enjoying it. And whenever Walter like flips out, like I'm holding a page up right now of Walter going into his like I'm angry alien face thing.
Mhm.
And it's just so creepy. And it just reminds you like you're not dealing with a human. No
Yeah.
matter how he talks, no matter how he acts, no matter how emotional he is, he's not a human.
Yeah, that's when he shows
And
off his Walt Hussey at that point.
oh god.
His nice
Um,
house on the Lacussy.
Oh
There-
my god.
Sean, you mentioned like there's nothing interesting, nothing of note really happens in this issue, but I think there's one thing that kind of flies under the radar.
Mm.
It's the fact that we learned that Ryan was never meant to really be there. She was essentially a backup.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there's two artists in this version of the lake, and like they're forced to stay together, and so are there other backups, you know, like were there other, it's almost like what's it called in a play when you're, you know, there's
Understudy.
an understudy. Yeah, there's almost like there's understudies involved here, which I'm curious about because that could maybe expand the cast for more people I can't recognize.
But how? Because isn't everyone dead? Like, so where? So if there are understudies as you described them,
Mhm.
where are they? Are they hidden? Like, were
Yeah.
they also like plucked and put aside just in case? But everyone in the outside world is dead. Like
That's how we
everyone
found
else,
That's how we found out about the second artist, like 3 issues in.
that they were the black dude, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a hatch. Sean, there's a hatch somewhere. They just got to open up the hatch.
Dude, I wish I'm waiting for a hatch. I'm dying for there to be a hatch.
Is a hatch a trope at this point?
Yeah, I
has
would
to
say
be.
so.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's where Nora is the hatch.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
She's the writer.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah,
let's
I think
let's
so.
take a look at
I
the
think
handy
so.
dandy guide in the back of the comic and let's find out. Nora is the writer. Yes, Nora Jacobs is the writer and the smoker, apparently. Yeah, so I obviously pull, but I'm very much leaning towards like I personally, right, would never trade weight a book in general. But in terms of a recommendation, I'm leaning towards telling you guys trade weight just because it is kind of tough to follow. I hope that by now with the next issue I'll be right on board, but that's a month away and then I might forget because a lot of comic books come out in a given month. So I might forget. But easy pull. If you're still haven't jumped on, get the first trade. If you enjoy that, then you know, just jump in.
You will.
It's still early. We're only eight issues in out of 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
4 left.
it's not going to be you're not going to break your bank to jump in on this. But real quick, there's only 4 issues left. What the
Mhm.
fuck has happened?
Yeah.
I was just thinking like if these instances where they're doing those introductions is like in the future after there's some sort of breakdown at the lake house, how are we getting there? Like there seems like there's so much left to explore even in the house because we haven't. They're only getting new spaces now. The last time they got, I don't know, like they climbed up like a mountain and that's pretty much the farthest that they've gotten so far.
Mhm.
But it feels like there's a lot just kind of outstanding. There's a lot of threads hanging. There's just I don't know how he's gonna tie that.
I think this round has to end it because
Yeah.
it one like you say we're getting close to the end, but it's also, you know, they're no matter what he does, they're putting stuff together,
Mhm.
and I think he's gonna get frustrated with that quicker than not. You know what I mean? Like this time they're putting together satellite dishes and whole, you know, mountain base camps to figure out what is going on, but they don't know that the outside world is gone.
Mm.
So I don't think this experiment is going to last much longer.
I think I know how it ends. I think Walter's going to get a letter in the mail. He opens it up, and it's a check, and it says Substack, and then it just ends.
I feel like Walter is low-key James Tinian, though. That's just my headcanon. So we've got a first-time chat from the real Doylerium.
Doylerium? Like delirium?
Doylerium. And I'm going to read this. It's long, but I'm going to read it. And I'm going to read it exactly how it is written. Do you think there will be a comic one day that is about a dolphin and he is really massive and he can just stop crimes? And then there's a flashback and it's some fish being bad to his parents. Then there's like a fish he befriends and he solves crimes, but it's in the future. Shout out from England. You guys seem nice. Thank you very much.
I think we found Grant Morrison's Twitch account.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the comment. Please do be sure to follow. Let me answer your question because I do have an answer. The answer is yes. There will one day be a comic about a dolphin who is really massive. And he will stop crimes. And do you know why? Do you know why that comic will exist one day? Doylerium. The reason is because you will write it. The reason is because if that's your idea and you want to see it exist, you need to go make it happen. Yeah, there could be a comic about anything if you make it happen.
And we believe in you.
Yeah.
And honestly, Dolphins is smart enough. I think you can market that correctly to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, waterproof pages.
Yeah.
If it's in the future, it could be like a Minority Report situation.
I'll make a deal with you. If you produce this dolphin comic, we'll read it and we'll review it on the show. We absolutely will.
Also, if you want dolphin-related comics to follow, was it, Sean, Rick Remender, Tokyo Ghost, did that have the dolphin in it? There was the Sean Murphy one where it was in the future where there was a dolphin.
I don't recall the dolphin.
Oh,
but
is
if it
it the
was Rick
Wake?
Remender and then it had to be Tokyo.
No, was it Scott Snyder and and Gordon Murphy on The Wake? There was a good dolphin. There's good dolphin stuff out there.
The Wake was good.
Brute Force is a futuristic animal super team by Marvel where there is a dolphin in a mech suit and he fights crime. He helps environmental crime. Brute Force. Good stuff. Marvel's bringing it back for some why do I know about dolphin comics? Why is this directly targeted towards me? Apparently,
You're too good,
Jeez.
dude.
I don't know, dude. Let's talk about something normal like a DC book.
That's
Batman,
saying something.
Superman, World's Finest, #2, Day of Doom Patrol is the tagline here for this particular issue. Of course, this is Mark Waid. We are still experiencing Mark Waid's return to DC Comics proper. Dan Mora on art. You literally, like, if you're gonna come back to DC and your first artist is Dan Mora, that's pretty good. Like, you can't do a lot better. Tamra Bonvillain on colors and Aditya Bidikar on letters. You know, I really enjoyed the first issue. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever read, but it was pretty good. It was, it was enjoyable, solid. This one I feel like was a little long in the talky stuff.
Yeah.
But the meat of it, I dug. I'm still in. I like this. It's fun.
I only had one issue with this book, and I didn't like the Niles Calder freaking out. In my head, Niles never freaks out.
Right.
He's a little more calm and collected. But the banter between him and Bruce trying to outsmart each other was great.
That was good.
It's weird. I don't hear voices for characters in my head, but I hear whenever Rita's talking, Elastic Woman. Right? What is her Doom Patrol name? I always forget.
Oh, is it not Elastigirl?
That's Incredibles. That's why I always get it confused with. But I always hear that mid-Atlantic Hollywood accent because of the fucking TV show.
That
Like,
Paget Brewster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a Thrilling Adventure Hour sort of thing.
Yeah.
I hear the TV characters' voices in my head, which is wild for me. It was like I was like, oh, that's a definitive version of Doom Patrol in my head, and just seeing them in here, like, fuck Batman, fuck Superman. You can if you want to, but it like seeing Doom Patrol in this was just great, and I'm excited to see if they use it more in this. Which it doesn't look like it, but I hope this is a little bit of a taste of some more that we're getting by them.
I hope they keep it up with like the wacky characters because Doom
Mhm.
Patrol kind of for Batman and Superman just feels like out of left field to be able to integrate them into one of the comics, and so for them to keep like, I can see them joining forces with like Detective Chimp or something. Like that's the next.
He's mainstream
book.
now, dude.
Fair enough, but
Yeah.
that kind of out there concept of we're gonna mix and match these two iconic heroes with some other maybe tertiary or secondary superhero, that's fun. And yeah,
So you want like the Batman Brave and the Bold in comic book form.
basically, dude, that's
Dude,
that,
I've
just
been
give me-
wanting
just
that
give me
for
Brave and the Bold.
years. Yeah. Let me see
Honestly,
Bawana
it's
Man
Beast.
to do it.
Yeah, yep. Dude's an encyclopedia for comic book knowledge. Like, it's so good. I love this. I thought it was great.
This was fun.
That story about like the ancient villain or whatever, that was
Devil
just,
Neza.
that was dry, dude. I was
Oh, you didn't care
like,
much for that?
No, it was
I-
too long.
I gotta say, so I really liked the Robin Supergirl dynamic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I didn't like that they just went back in time.
I know.
they walked
What?
up to like a door and it's like, here it is.
Yeah, because of the sword, I guess. Like I've been trying to put that together in my head all day, and it's well, I guess it's just because of the sword, and she knows she can see tachyons. I guess. All right.
That
It,
bothered me
shouldn't,
too.
it should probably shouldn't be that easy to go back in
Right.
time.
Yeah,
That's kind of a
And-
big deal.
And if you can fly at the speed of time travel, should you be carrying a regular human
Right.
by his arms?
I didn't
And
think
also, he
about
wasn't
the first.
surprised at all. Like he was just like, "Oh yeah, we're just back in
Yeah,
time."
right.
I didn't think about the first part of what you said. You're right about it, but I definitely thought about the second part. Robin should be like completely dead, right? Like there's just
Yeah.
no way that a regular body can survive that. But all right. Yeah, this was fun. And I also I shouted out Dan Mora in the beginning. Dan Mora is one of the best. And I'm waiting for him to like really get that big top shelf A+ level book.
Mhm.
I believe he had a book with Bendis. I want to say that he did. Or I might know.
Once
My-
in future. No, that's Gillen.
I'm wrong. It's not him. It's shoot. The artist behind Civil War 2, David Marquez. David
Yeah.
Marquez is the one that came over with Bendis and did Batman, Superman, and a couple other things. Dan Mora, though, needs that at bat. He needs that A-level top tier book. And I don't think this is quite that. I like it for him. I like that he's the first artist that's teaming with Mark Waid on Mark's return to mainstream DC. But I want Dan to go from here to Batman or, like something like that.
Avengers.
I mean, of course, but I don't know if Dan is working with DC anymore or with Marvel, rather. I'm sorry.
Fair.
And Robin's shoulders in this book looked incredible. His Robin looks great.
Did you like the bit where they acknowledge his pants?
Yeah.
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 That was funny. Yeah.
Well, what's with the relationship between him and Supergirl?
Mhm.
I always thought it was like a
not
rival
much,
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Rivaled, yeah, friendly,
Because she was never really a Titans member. She kind of like was her own thing,
yeah.
really. She was like, I guess, the first one to really graduate to like her own superhero. So she kind of missed the boat with the Titans, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Beautiful. Yeah.
I think she's a little bit older canonically.
Yeah. Yep.
So
And she's older than
She's
Clark
not-
canonically. So
yeah, she's not
Yeah.
technically a sidekick.
Beautiful colors too, by the way. This is a very beautifully colored comic book.
Tamra's amazing. She's really
Yeah.
good.
yeah, I love Tamara.
This was my book of the week, actually.
Really?
Yeah, over Nice House, I think.
I think so too, Marco. Yeah, I think I'm with you.
It was just fun.
My book of the week was Inferno. No, yeah,
The one
yeah.
you
This
didn't
is my
unwrap
book of the week. Listen, whatever. This was my book of the week on what is admittedly not like, at least as far as the books that we read, not the best week we've had. But hey, it happens.
That's because next week's a fucking doozy.
Indeed. Yeah, we've got some bangers next week. This week was not as stacked. I mean, my poll list was very short in comparison to what it normally is. But yeah, I would say pull list. World's Finest is still a lot of fun. Again, it doesn't take place in the now of DC, which allows it to be whatever it needs to be. And I think that always leaves room for a lot of play. And Mark Waid, as was mentioned earlier, is like an encyclopedia for this stuff. So letting him use whoever he wants, do whatever he wants, perfect sandbox for a creator like him. All right, let's jump in to Comics Tag. So
Yeah, Sean.
I was tagged by Tyler to read Ice Cream Man.
Oh, that's right.
Did you eat ice cream while you were reading it?
Are you
Probably should have told you.
insane?
Oh, yeah,
do you know
you
what would
can't do
happen
that.
to me?
Not advisable.
This is the only way you could imbibe on ice cream, actually.
I mean, the true horror is what would happen in Sean's bowels.
Yeah.
And
I wish it was bowels.
No,
That's right.
it's all over.
Dude, if it was just my bowels, I wouldn't be able to be here right now because I would have eaten a pizza earlier. I'd be on the
Guys,
toilet.
if you want to know about Sean's relationship with dairy, join our Patreon and listen to Palin' Around episode 1
Yeah.
because I
Yes.
learned a lot there, probably
You
more
will
than I
hear-
wanted.
You will hear the origin of how I learned that I cannot consume dairy. And it was probably almost the worst possible way that I could
Yeah.
possibly learn that information.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
So this was Ice Cream Man number 29. It actually came out yesterday. They didn't have it at Midtown, which I was surprised by. But so this issue, at first I was like, okay, what the hell am I reading? There's an ice cream dude. I'm not sure if people even know he's there or not. It was just weird. But the more I read it, the more I got connected to the story, and it felt like a story just about like, hey man, we're all gonna live and die, and you're gonna make mistakes along the way, and you can't take anything with you. And life is just about trying to be the best person that you can, but accepting that sometimes you're gonna fail. You're not gonna be the perfect person that you think you're gonna be, and never run into a situation where you were the bad guy, or a situation where you had an addiction, or you passed by a homeless person and didn't give them any money. You're not going to be that person who's perfect. That person doesn't exist on earth. But hopefully what you leave behind with when you go is memories for people that you did right by them in some way, that you were there for them. And that's the message I got out of the book. Tyler, I don't know if you read it, if that's what you got out of it.
I did read it, actually. Yeah, I did read it. And it reminded me why I liked Ice Cream Man. This was like one of the least horror-y kind of issues that I remember. This is a lot more heartfelt, and I don't know if like this is a story about like somebody who actually died.
I feel like it is, but
because there was like an RIP at the end, like an in
Yeah.
memoriam, which kind of made it a little more heartfelt than what I remember Ice Cream Man being. But I always like how Ice Cream Man really kind of just taps into like a human experience,
Yeah.
and it's a very internal thing that again then gets externalized in really fucked up ways. But I enjoyed it. It's about like the things you leave behind, either physical or even like the anxiety you leave behind, and how that gets transferred in this. So
this is really good, and I'm glad that this was the issue I read because I'm not sure what the book is normally like. This book touched me right where I live at. This was very, very, very good. The art was, the art's pretty like basic. There are some like kind of nasty moments, like where he pulls out some kind of squid-like creature from a dead dude's mouth. That's pretty gross. But for the most part, it's pretty, straightforward, and it's about the moments and the emotional aspect of it. This actually, matter of fact, this is my book of the week.
Okay.
It's good.
All
Yeah, it's
right,
good.
dude.
Yeah,
Sean, would you pick up the first volume now because of this?
I think I would. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would.
Yeah, I think you'd like
in
it.
fact, I probably will.
The art's a little it's a little dirty in a way. It's like how do I explain this? It's kind of clean, in terms of its lines and stuff, but like none of the lines are ever really straight. They're always a little scratchy, It's like this facade that's been put on there, you know,
Right.
of like, ooh, we're gonna try and look really clean and normal, but there's always a little bit going on there in the background, which I really enjoy.
Martin Morazzo reminds me a lot of like a sort of like a Frank Quietly, in that
Yeah.
there's a lot of crinkles in the line, a lot of extra just straight clean lines, but they're just added there for texture. And I like what he does is he dots them. They're not like straight actual lines. If you look at them, they're dotted all along the way. He's one of my favorite artists. He's real good. Met him at Comic-Con at some point.
Nice.
My shaky hands could never do that. So
So, of course, that gives me the power to tag someone. Now, Tyler, thank you for actually tagging me with something good.
I figured I'd give you
appreciate
ice
that.
cream since you don't normally consume that. So
So I'm going to tag you right back with something that I think is good. Yeah, right, Matt. That I think that's the first time that's happened.
I believe it is. Yeah.
So I'm going to tag you with a
Game of
book
Ping?
that I was just reminded of because I learned from the creator, Gabriel Hardman, that it will not be continuing.
Is
This
it
book is
Invisible
co-
Republic?
It absolutely is.
Okay, I have the first trade. I haven't read it and I have it signed.
Oh, you have it signed?
Yeah, I got it from Hardman. Yeah, I'm a big Hardman fan.
Me
Even though
too.
I've never read Invisible Republic.
Invisible Republic is extremely underrated. It's one of the best series that I have read, and I think you're gonna love it. It's so good. It's by Hardman and his wife. I'm not sure if they're still together, but his wife at the time anyway, Karina Becco. And it's essentially a book about a future world where there is some sort of conspiracy. I won't go into it, and various different sort of people have to work together to figure out what's going on and how to deal with it. And it's very like drama-y and political and sci-fi and stuff like that. So read as much as you can, I guess.
Yeah, I got it in 2017. Apparently, I still haven't read it. It's on my shelf. So thanks for giving me a reason.
Nice. Cool. That works out. Now it's time for the segment the show's named after, Pals
Pouch
Pulls.
Pulls. All right, Pouch Pulls. This week we got for Pouch Pulls, we got Ghost Cage #2. This is my pick. This is by Nick Dragotta and Caleb Gellner. This is a wild book when I first read the first issue. It's black and white, and it's got real like Akira vibes to it. It's essentially a tech, like an IT person for this conglomerate company, has to then guide this new living weapon, almost like an Astro Boy sort of thing going on, to fight all these elements in this giant power plant. And it's like fight after fight after fight, and it's really good. It's Nick Dragotta on art doing some like really crazy manga influence shit. I thought the first issue was wild. I think Marco and Kale would actually like this. Sean might too.
Yeah,
if you're
sounds
familiar with
rad.
it.
I picked up the first issue, but I haven't read it.
Oh,
Ooh,
and he got
did you?
puberty too when he picked it up.
Dude.
This is my favorite running glitch of the show. None of the other glitches are fun. This is the only fun one.
I just love that it sounds like Marco's balls dropped in the middle of
Yeah.
the podcast. Like,
Dude, I do nothing. I do
There
literally
we go.
nothing.
There we go. Your computer just hates you. I
but
think.
that's how it happens. You do nothing, and then one day your voice is just deep.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
one
what
day you
happens.
wake up, the bed's wet.
Oh,
After
that how
a
it
good
went
old
down for
dream
you?
about animated series Jean Grey. Let's go to the next book. I actually put The Amazing Spider-Man #1 by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. on there. I had something else, but then Sean wanted it too, so I was like, yeah, I can futz around a bit. Yeah, I don't know about this cover.
look at his leg.
Yeah, okay, I know he's doing the old stanky leg a bit here, but it's JRJR doing
Oh, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Like, I don't care what year it is. Like, I'm gonna read that no matter what. And I really like Zeb Wells lately. I've typically always liked Zeb Wells from when I've read his stuff. But like him coming back lately is like, okay.
Do you do you know about how Beyond ends?
Yeah. Want me to spoil it for you? Or do you
No,
need
no,
the
I-
preface? Okay.
I think I know. and I'm wondering if this is
I don't think you
the
know.
direct.
It's
I
Beyond ends in a weird way.
I read what happens, and I just don't understand Marvel sometimes.
Yeah. Do you want me to spoil it for you, Cal? I can throw a spoiler alert up there.
I'm pretty sure I know. Okay, yeah, do
Okay,
it.
spoiler alert for Spider-Man Beyond. Ben Riley gets a lot of his memories removed for all
Yeah,
the
okay.
good stuff that Uncle Ben told him, and he becomes a villain at the end.
Yeah. So his cloning process gets, I don't know, his memories get fucked up or something, and
The Beyond Corporation removes his memories. Yeah.
okay, yeah, and so he lashes out at Peter. Like it's 1994,
hmm
and gets thrown into a vat of acid or something and becomes a villain.
Yeah, it's essentially. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the design, but like, he's still around. He has a new fucking identity again, or a new
Yeah,
superhero identity. So,
I don't know. I'm disappointed on the Ben Riley factor of it, but it's interesting.
sure.
So I'm
It's a
wondering.
Spider-Man number
So all
one,
that to
so.
say, I'm wondering if that's where all this picks up, because the original copy for this was, "You're never gonna believe what Peter did."
Right.
I've been looking at the solicits, and it looks like Norman's coming back too. So, that might be a reason to read it as well.
Dude, I saw a picture of Spider-Man on a Goblin glider today, and I closed Twitter.
New
Because
Marvel Legends figure coming out 2026.
I'm just tired of all the gimmicks, man. Like,
Oh,
please.
what you're not tired for is your pick of Justice League number 75.
Yeah. Joshua Williamson, Rafa Sandoval will be telling the death of the Justice League. This is, of course, going to lead into the Dark Crisis event and all that stuff. This is where the Justice League are going to die. A
How did they
majority
die?
of them,
Is it COVID-19?
yes.
Yeah.
On their
Do it.
satellite or whatever that they have, they had a no mask policy. And
Funny,
they
right?
just
They're
all caught
superheroes.
it.
You think
Yeah.
they'd
They
have
just-
it?
The Flash was just running around Earth catching COVID and spreading it everywhere, and these motherfuckers died, man.
Congrats,
Yeah.
you just described deceased. So
Dude, that's the real deceased. That's how they got there, man. Flash, wear a fucking mask, dude. Jesus Christ, he's on that satellite coughing on everybody. My God. So no, but this is the lead into an event. I really love it when events have build up, and neither Marvel or DC do that as much anymore. They're both doing it this year via the Judgment Day event. We've seen some of that build up in Eternals and stuff like that, and then also now with Death of Justice League spinning out into Dark Crisis. This is the best time. Whether the events will be good or not, I love the fact that they're building towards them. So Joshua Williamson's very capable. Rafa Sandoval is super talented. I think this is going to be great.
you also had Knights of X, Knights of 10. Which is it, guys? Come on, I lost track.
Knights of X.
Knights of 10X, XN 10.
Fine.
So Teeny Howard, Bob Quinn, both of them very good. They've both been inside the X-verse, the Krakoa era, pretty much since day one. And I think that Teeny Howard's run on Excalibur was very good. So this is essentially a spiritual successor to that. I don't know that I care as much now that Apocalypse is decidedly not a factor, but Teeny's chops are there. Bob Quinn's chops are more than there. And I'm looking forward to it. It's an X-Men number 1. How can I not? At
Also
least
some
it's not X-Men Green, which I don't know if you guys saw was also announced. And
Wait, really?
Yes, X-Men Green. It's going to be an app exclusive, digital exclusive.
Okay, that's probably why
It has Sauron on the team.
I thought it was. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm into it. There we go. Let's
What?
go.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I love Sauron.
Yeah.
I mess with Sauron, but out on an X team?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I love him. He's a big old pterodactyl.
All right.
I do
you're
like
not
the
talking about the
lineup
same
changes in
Sauron.
this book though. That we got Shatterstar, and Rachel Gray and Bay. Bay is part of this, so
Bay is Bay. Matt, what are we booing? Why the booze?
I think he's booing my Sauron love, maybe. Marco, talk about the thing you like to talk about.
Bro, the Swamp Thing? That's some good
Hold
shit.
on. Sean, you got another highlighted message.
I gotta
that you have
change
to read.
the amount of this thing. I gotta make the
All
settings.
right,
change.
listen. I'm gonna have to put a moratorium on reading the X-ray.
Yeah,
stuff.
I could change
I'll
the
do this
amount.
one.
It's gonna cost more going forward.
Knights of XXXX's on your. I'm gonna change it on your breastises.
No, he said Knights of Triple X on your titties. That's what he said.
During my time, Matt, it's rude. The Swamp Thing, Rom V, Mike Perkins, did a bit of car, Mike Spicer on colors. It's the Dream Team. They've been doing good shit. This is the season 2. The 6 issues that now include Tefe for some reason that we're still trying to figure out. But this cover in particular, fucking cool. I saw this, I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'm picking this up. And if you're part of the Parliament of Trees Facebook group, you got to see these in.
That's fake, right? You're not making that up. You're making that up.
I got 2 points. Number one, why the hell would you plug that here?
Well, hold on a second, because it's relevant. Because Mike Perkins is in it, and he shares preliminary art whenever he has it, and the black and whites for this, amazing. The lines.
Okay, Marco, do you share our YouTube videos in that group when we talk about Swamp Thing?
I used to.
And number 2, if we have one single solitary listener who is in that group other than Marco, I want to hear from them now, because I guarantee you that doesn't exist. I guarantee you that Facebook group includes Marco, Mike Perkins, and who wrote Swamp? Bernie Wrightson or
He's dead. He's
Len
dead. He
Weed?
can't be on that
Len
one.
Weed?
He's died,
Len
yeah.
Weed.
Alan
Also
Moore?
dead.
Also dead.
Okay.
yeah.
Ron B's in there.
All right. Well, they were. Alan Moore's not in there. Those
No, Ron B is.
Ron V. Okay, those are the only members of the Parliament of Trees, and Charles Soule. Scott Snyder left because he got tired of the shit.
Bro, that's where I have my membership card from. I have a Swamp Thing membership card that I used to do that Swamp Thing podcast. That's where that shit came from.
I believe this.
It's true. It's invite only, so it's for the special few.
Matt, I actually hate Tigers, so that's.
Wait, Marco, would you consider that membership card your green card?
Haha, more than one.
Because
all right.
the Swamp Thing joke. All right, there's racial things that got in there accidentally. All right, Dark Knights of Steel,
Accidentally.
number 6.
Accidentally, he asked a politically charged question.
It was more of a color joke, but now that sounds okay. Marco, talk about
Wow.
Dark Knights of Steel.
Wow.
This is Dark Knights of Steel. Tom Taylor, he's doing his fantasy sort of what is that show? Game of Thrones-esque Batman and Superman story. Dan Moore doing covers, good stuff. And then the artist, I'm forgetting the name of, something Putri. It's been fun. It's been really,
good.
really cool.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the series, and yeah, I'm glad to see where it's been going. I want more. I hope he gets like another season out of this if they continue to do seasons. But the story's just been good. I think the art's been like on point, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Tom Taylor's like the king of alternate universes at this point.
That's his niche at this point, man. They like, oh, we're trying to make another world. Can you go deal with this?
Yeah, can you world build in 2 issues? Yeah, sure, why not?
Are you in a Facebook group for this too, by the way?
No, it's not there yet. I haven't built it.
Okay.
So Harris was wondering if anyone picked Rogues for next week, and looks like Cal did.
And man, you know I'm here for you. The Flash's Rogues number 2. They're my dudes. Captain Cold
It's a big week,
going
Sean.
in for a heist in Gorilla City.
That's it.
Come
It's
on
the,
now.
it's the pitch.
That covers everything.
I love this cover too.
Oh my god. So it's
There's some good alternate covers too for this one.
it's-
I had to make a
it's-
choice.
it's the Rogues Gallery, like kind of sneaking in Gorilla City, surrounded by like yellow fog, with sneaking underneath a statue to Gorilla Grodd. A massive statue. That's
this
so
looks-
cool.
This reminds me of me drunkenly trying to get to the bathroom at Rainforest Cafe after I drank too many pina coladas.
Talk about a volcano.
Oh,
I had too many of those barbecue cheddar burgers. Oh man, Rainforest Cafe, guys.
Yeah,
So good.
absolutely.
It's stupid.
what
I
that
love
is.
it. And Kale, you also had the British Paranormal Society #1.
Ooh.
Right. So this is from the world of Hellboy, and what that means is it's a weird idea that Mike Mignola had in the middle of the night, and so he wrote it down, and now it's a book.
Sounds right.
Yep.
I tend to enjoy these books because they're just weird. They're not connected to anything, and they're just cool. So here is the synopsis. British Paranormal Society members Simon Brutenholm and Honora Grant arrive at Noxton together, but with separate goals. Honora hopes to uncover information on the town's strange traditions, while Simon is searching for his missing assistant. But their separate investigations lead down the same twisted path that hides a dark secret behind Noxton's innocent facade.
I'm getting Thrilling Adventure Hour feels from this too. What's the one they do in that?
Seal yourself from mysterious.
I know. I
suspense.
hear it.
I do too. Why can't I think of it?
I gotta get back on that boat and re-listen to some of those. But,
Oh man.
yeah.
So-
This has Andrea Moody on it. That's good art, Kale.
Oh yeah, I forgot to call out the creative team.
Chris Roberson is just like, you know how like Sauron had the mouth of Sauron. I feel like Chris Roberson is like the mouth of Mignola.
We're talking
Yeah.
about different
'Cause
Saurons.
I feel like there's two. We've talked about two Saurons today. We got the Lord of the Rings Sauron, and then we got
Okay.
X-Men Sauron. Different Saurons.
I don't know this
One is a giant dude with big hands and big old ring on his sack of bananas for a hand, and the other guy is a pterodactyl.
I feel like either could be either, really, by that description.
yeah, for real.
Honestly, I'd like to switch them around. I wouldn't mind seeing a pterodactyl in the Lord of the Rings universe.
You might in the Amazon show that they're coming out with.
That's
Who
right.
knows?
Yeah,
Listen,
I'll tell you to say
uh,
that. Yeah.
Before we cut out, I did want to say I didn't notice this until now, but thank you to Catherine for joining our Patreon at the $10 tier. Really
hell
appreciate
yeah.
that. Let us know what your thoughts are on the exclusive show we have over there, Palling Around. And of course, the newsletter and all the stuff we've got going on. Patrons are going to find out first what our pulls are, not our pulls, but what books we're reading for this very show, which you can catch every single Thursday live at 6 p.m. Eastern. Patrons will know about that first, and you'll get early access to everything that we do. If we finish editing it early, you guys will have it as soon as it's done. And you can tell all your friends about, knowing first up what crap we talked about in a book club we did.
Have you told Catherine the story that's on the Palin Around?
Probably. I mean, I've known her for a really long time, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably happened, but I just can't remember. So yeah, definitely do join our Patreon if you are considering doing that. I encourage you to give it a shot. If you hate it for some reason, you can always unsubscribe, but I think it's worth your time. We worked really hard to make sure that that's the case. Catch us live on Saturday at 10 a.m., 10:15 Eastern for the main show. We've got a lot to talk about. I promise you we're not going to talk about Ezra Miller anymore and them getting arrested again. We probably will.
Mhm.
It's the kind of content you come for, right?
We might be talking
Always
about
strikes
NFTs
twice.
again too.
3 times kill. We definitely won't talk at all about Image Comics and anything that they've done. We have no time for something like that. We have a lot of time for that. I have a lot of time.
I sent you guys this. Kale, you look confused, but I sent you this.
Man, I don't have time to look at every single link you send us in our chat. Do you know how many links you send us? It's hard
lot.
enough
It's a
keeping
lot,
on top
yeah.
of the Discord, my man.
Thank you, Tyler. And thank you guys for listening. We had 15 people join us today, or probably more, but I see the number 15 right now. Thank you all for joining us live. The live experience is awesome. You guys make it fantastic and so much fun. I can't wait to see you guys on Saturday morning. Thank you for joining us. Until next week, we're the Comics Pal signing off. Take care, guys.
I'm glad,
Fussy
Matt.
Wildin in Hawaii.
I was gonna say I'm glad he didn't highlight it, so we didn't have to say it, and now you end the show that way. All right, that's how I'll edit it. You know, that's the way it is. All right, see you guys.